Hi, I'm Cy from A Bountiful Kitchen, and I wanted to show you today how to put together a salad. I think sometimes people get a little bit intimidated by not using a recipe, and I wanted to show you how easy that is to do on your own and kind of the different components that go into building your own salad and making it your own recipe. So let's get started. So the first thing I've done is put together just some greens in a bowl, and you can use anything that you want. You can use prepackaged greens, you can use lettuce that you purchase from the store and wash and spin yourself. I did a mixture of some spring mix and then also some baby spinach. I really like the taste of spinach, and I also like the deep dark green color. So I used some spinach, and this is probably about 15 cups of lettuce that I've put in a bowl. This salad will serve about a dozen people as a side dish. You can customize your salad the way you want. You can mix together. I try to just think of flavors that I like when I'm coming up with a new salad recipe. Like I really love brie and apples together. I love pear and gorgonzola or blue cheese together. So think about things that pair well together, maybe in dishes you've had. And you can even get out a little pad of paper and start writing down some different combinations until you come up with something that you think sounds really great to you and something that you can make your own. You usually want to choose whether or not you're going to go savory or sweet with a salad. And so as far as even nuts go, I have some plain almonds here that are just slivered, or I have some pecans that I've candied in some butter and sugar. These are all prepared, and I usually make a few extra and then just put them away. I hide them from my family so that I can have some for a salad when I want to put together a quick salad. So I think today what I'll do is just show you how to make a dressing and then a fresh dressing, and then also put together a salad that's more on the savory side. I have a few sweet ingredients out here, like a grape, and I've got a grape and a tomato, which I usually wouldn't put together in the same salad. So I think we won't use the grapes today, and maybe we'll choose to use some of the ingredients that are a little bit more on the savory side. But you can also go sweet if you'd like. Okay, so I've got the greens in the bowl, and I think I'm just going to toss in a few of these grape tomatoes. If they're small like this, I think it's okay to put them in whole. Sometimes you get grape tomatoes that look really huge, and I think for me, the rule of thumb is when I'm eating a salad, I don't want it to be bigger than I can put in my mouth in one bite. So if you've got a great big grape tomato, and when someone bites into that, it's going to spurt all over the place, I usually would cut that in half. So go ahead and toss in a few of these grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. I think grape tomatoes have really great flavor. They tend to be a little bit sweeter than a cherry tomato. So I put in a few grape tomatoes, and then I'm going to put in an avocado today because I really like avocados with tomatoes. And when I cut an avocado, I slice down the middle first. I go all the way around the avocado until I meet the other side, and then I just twist it apart. That's how I get an avocado apart. It's really simple this way. And then I quarter it. I know people have their own way of doing avocados, but this is what's always worked for me. And then I just peel back the outer edge. And if the avocado is ripe, it'll come apart really easily. You can just put the avocado on top like this and just slice it into chunks. And just repeat that until you've got the whole avocado peeled and into your salad. If you're doing this for make-ahead, you'd want to wait and do the avocado just before you serve it because you don't want it to go brown. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the avocado in. And I've got a little almond here that's just a plain almond, and we're going to go ahead and sprinkle that on the top. I think that when you're putting together a salad, it's really nice to pick something that's going to be a little bit crunchy. If you have bacon, bacon is a great thing to put in because it's crunchy and it's salty, so you're going to add the salt factor into your salad, make it a little bit more interesting. And with this one, I'm just going to put in some shaved Parmesan cheese that I have. And you want to look at the colors in your salad too. So right now I've got a lot of green, I've got some red, I've got white with the almonds and the cheese, a little bit more green with the avocado. You could throw in something like some chopped green onions. That would be a great thing in this salad. Some celery, some broccoli that's either raw or blanched, so you could have a little bit more crunch in this. That would be really great too. I'm going to show you a dressing that you can put together in just a minute. And we have a little lunch place in town. It's called Plates and Palettes in Bountiful, and everyone loves it. And when you go into Plates and Palettes and you watch them make salads, a lot of their ingredients are things that you see in every grocery store or big box store, right? Lettuce and pears and cheeses and different things that are really easy to buy. But I think the thing that sets this little restaurant apart is they make all of their dressings, which I think is really important. If you make a homemade dressing, your salad is really going to be outstanding. So it's so easy to make a homemade dressing. I'm going to show you just, you want to use an olive oil. I think olive oil is a really great oil to use in a salad. So I'm just going to put about a half a cup of olive oil in this jar. And I think a jar is a really great way to mix up a salad dressing. It's a great way to store it so that it's not going to spill all over. And then also it works really well because you can blend this up or shake. You can put a lid on the jar and shake it up to blend it. You just want to make sure that when you make an oil dressing that you get the oil and the whatever vinegar, or in our case, we're going to make a fresh lemon dressing. So whatever type of vinegar or acidity you're going to use, you want to make sure that that gets blended really well with the oil. Okay, so we're just going to cut this in half, and then I love this little tool. It's just a little, I don't know what you call this. It's just a little lemon juicer. And I'm just going to put it over the top. Whoops, I put that in the wrong way. I'm just going to put it over the top and press it down. And if you can see, it's going to squeeze all the lemon juice right into the jar. And once you get it down far enough, you're going to be able to just squeeze. And it will keep the seeds out as well. This is just a really easy way to get your juice into the jar. Okay, so now we have half the lemon squeezed in with the oil, and usually to about a half a cup of oil, you're just going to want maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons of either something like red wine vinegar, or in this case, a fresh lemon juice or balsamic vinegar. Whatever type of a tart you're going to use ingredient, you just want a little less than half of the amount of oil that you've used. So I'm just going to leave that at half a lemon, and then we're going to taste this. I'm going to put a tiny bit of Dijon mustard in this, and then a little bit of salt, and I usually always use a coarse salt, and then also pepper, a little bit of pepper, and then we're just going to blend this up. This dressing, I don't want it to be super sweet, but I usually always put just a tiny bit of sugar or honey in as well, and I think that helps cut a little bit of the tartness, but doesn't make it overly sweet. If you have an immersion blender is a really great tool to use when you're making a salad dressing. All you need to do is just stick it into the jar and then just blend it. And it just takes a second to do. And you'll notice that if you use an immersion blender, your dressing all of a sudden goes from looking like an oil and vinegar dressing to a creamy dressing. So at this point, you would taste it and see how it is to you, if it's too tart or not tart enough. And if you want a little bit more, you could add some more lemon juice. You could put some vinegar in here. You could use any kind of vinegar that you like. And you've got a dressing that's all ready to go. And you can just pour this over the top. The last thing I'm going to show you is a homemade crouton, and I'm just going to talk you through this. This is a pan of homemade croutons that I just did, and this is just a cut up loaf of artisan bread or any type of bread that you have around your house. I really like a more dense bread. I think it makes a better crouton, but you can use anything from a leftover roll to a croissant to a piece of artisan bread. And I just drizzle the pan. I usually use a nonstick pan, but I drizzle the pan with some olive oil, and then I just chunk the bread up and put it in there, and I sprinkle it really generously with salt and pepper, and then I just start tossing and cooking that until you get a crouton that comes out that's golden brown. And these are really wonderful as snacks too. Whenever we have leftovers, I just leave them sitting out on a plate, and by the end of the evening, they're gone. So I would top my salad with this. And I'll just show you. We'll go ahead and just throw a few on top. And these are so much better than if you buy a crouton from a store. They're just, whenever I make these are really good too with a homemade tomato soup. Whenever I make homemade croutons, people ask me how to make them. And they take 5 minutes to make. And they're so beautiful and so delicious. And I'm just gonna top the salad with a little bit of this dressing now. And it's ready to go. You can toss that together if you want, or you can just serve it where it's drizzled over the top and then serve a little dressing on the side. And that is a make it yourself salad, make it your own salad. And I think this is something that you can do at home and you can learn how to do just by taking a little time, thinking about flavors that you really love together, and you can come up with your own original creations. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will come join me in my Bountiful Kitchen.